Hi everyone. Well, I haven't really vlogged my day 5 because I just read a book and went to a few op shops and ate some nice seafood, and now I'm back home, and the next day I was 10 hours in the car, so I'm back and I'm home. And today I wanted to reflect a little bit on what that trip meant to me, and what the outcome of it was. Sometimes giving yourself the space for a proper little art retreat with no interruptions. Doesn't matter how much you love the people around you in your life, you sometimes need to just have your own personal space for some art and the thought and the creative process. So I've come back with quite a few things from the local op shops. Now, I don't really actually decided not to do a haul video. I thought what I'd rather do is do a video of this is what I got from this shop and this is what I'm making from this shop, because I feel it's a little bit more in line with, I don't know, who am I today? Who am I today? This is who I am. So I got back and all the dramas started again, and it made me quite sad, and I wished I'd have stayed longer, and it pushed me a little bit closer to my idea of the travel in your van around Australia moment, which still could take another year or two to happen. But anyway, when I was on the way up, I stopped at Holbrook for a rest, and I mentioned that they had now this is funny because I saw the sign said linen 50% off, and I thought, oh, they must have some nice linen. Silly me. I got in there and found that all the linens, which includes doonas, bed sheets, all of those things were 50% off. So I got quite a nice lot of stuff because that's the only area I was shopping in anyway. So I picked up this doona. I think it's a double, because I really liked that this side has got a green colour to it and that the inside has got a white background, and I thought these will be really nice for a crocheted bag. So the other side you can still see a bit of the pattern through on both of the materials. I don't know, I think it's possibly a poly cotton, but when we're crocheting our little fun bags and stuff, it could be just actually a cotton. I don't know where the label is. Be in here somewhere. Anyway, so that's one job I'm doing. So I'm pacing myself with all the things I bought and the projects that they have inspired, week by week basis is all I can say. And the other thing I got that I thought someone might be interested to see was this tapestry cushion cover, which looks like Venice with the gondolas. On my last day, when I finished reading the Kate Greenwood book, something about leaves, Room of Leaves, and now I'm reading a book, and of course I should have written it down, but I didn't think I was going to say it, but I'm reading a book that, if anyone has watched, I think it's on Netflix, the show about the glass blowers. I love those little competition shows where they're making things, you know, whether it's pottery or cakes or glass blowing. I kind of like them. They're really good, kind of brainless when you don't want to think too much or you're sitting having a stitch. Anyway, on that show, one of them recommended this book, which is about I think it might even be called something glass blower or something, but it's set back in the late 1400s, back in the area of Murano where the glass blowing is being done, and how precious they were about their recipes for the glass blowing. And so it's a wonderful book. So I'm making a video, and then I'll go and have a spoil me moment and sit and read that book. But I just thought I love this tapestry enough that when it's actually, if I cut it down here, this is, for me, a lovely journal cover. It's also got this beautiful matted sort of felty stuff, which will be good for a pouch as well. So there's that. So that's 2 projects. I'll get onto my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery next video, I think. I don't think I'm going to cover that today. Now, after my foraging, there was one other thing. I shouldn't really be covering this op shop because it was the last one I went to. But, however, and this is really, I find this a bit amusing. I thought I was looking at Zoe's big glass bowls of the Ort jars on the table and thinking, oh yeah, my Ort jar is full. Like, I've got a glass jar and it's really full. And as I want to have some of the local women round for stitching, I thought I need kind of Ort things. Then I went into the op shop and I think this was the one in Merimbula. I found a bag with black already ripped and put into piles. There was this green and there was this green. And I thought I should make some little Ort baskets. Now I know everyone's keen to make really bright and colourful baskets, but I thought I really do like this vessel idea. And these were a few dollars at the op shop, ready-made. So I thought, oh, it's just a quick little evening project to make 1 or 2 little baskets. Now, the thing that made me smile a little bit about this was because I'm pretty sure in Missy's last video, she said, so Missy made this, she said something about making some strips ready for a basket and thinking they were too dark and sending them off to the op shop. I might be wrong, but that's my memory because I haven't gone back and looked at the video as I've been a bit busy since I got back with everyone else's dramas. And I'm just having a chuckle that if these were the ones you made, Missy, here you go, they've been put to good use. So, if I've got that story wrong, sorry, but it's funny. Anyway, so my Ort jars are so full, I am just thinking, I don't want to have glass on my table. That's my decision was. I want all of them to be a bit soft. So I'm going to put my Orts into these. So I've got soft things to put in the middle of the table and not glasses. Put that over there. There, that's, so to me, that's making me a lot happier. I'm enjoying that. I'm always worried that I'm going to knock the glass and it's going to fall off, and this just feels more tactile and more, I don't know, pretty, I guess. I can see them a lot more, and there's big watts that you can grab to use. I've got some Solvay and I want to do some of that. So put these in here too. If you were watching the travel series, so the end result was that, let me put them aside, that the time gave me the space to just slow down and recognise a lot of things that were going on in my life and how I claim my space amongst everyone else's stuff when I need to look after myself. So the main thing I got were the rocks that I've wrapped. Now I haven't made anything out of these yet, but I'm going to show you in a minute. I've got this beautiful bit of wood. So these are from Pambula. These were from Bright, and just get these out. And these feathers were at the doorstep of my stay in the yurt in Bundanoon. So all of these are particular memories for me that are just really beautiful. I love that. Oh, that's just a nice flat lay, isn't it? Oh, beautiful. However, I also went to the cemetery in Pambula, and when I was there I picked up around the whole ground there were bits of broken and decaying flowers, plastic that people had put on grave sites. And I thought that was quite fascinating, that you can walk around the whole area and there's just all this decaying material on top of the ground of plastic that people have put there to honour the decaying under the ground. I hope that doesn't offend anyone. So these little plastic leaves, and you know, they're just going to sit there. They're not even going into the earth. They're not decaying. They're just all breaking apart with the weather and sitting there. So there's that. So the story that ended up happening was on the last day that I was thinking about these rocks, and I was thinking about these, and I started a new vessel. So these are going to somehow be incorporated into the vessel. So let me move them off. I need a little flat lay tray, I think. That'd be nice. So here's my start of my vessel. And I put this shell on that I'd taken away with me. Well, it's a button, but it reminds me of a shell. So I've put that on. So I just want to talk a little bit about my process with this as the result of having days of being by myself, other than the time with all of the women at the Green Door Studio, which was absolutely marvellous. The rest of the time I was on my own and doing my own thing, and I have to say I loved it. I always think it's funny when people say to me, oh no, I think you're meant to be either in a relationship or you're meant to have people around you, and I agree to a certain point, but I also think it's really important to have time for the self. So these are the little bits of broken off, decaying material flowers at the cemetery. I did wash them, but they're grungy because they're old. I don't mind. And while I was standing looking out at sea, it's just like I went, oh, the sea saw me adrift, because I felt before I went away that I was a bit lost. I had a big period of too many things mounting up and getting quite depressed, and I just thought I wasn't sure where I was going, what I was doing. You know, it was just one thing after the other. That sometimes it happens that it all comes in one lot and your brain doesn't take it very well. But here it is. Here's the start of my new vessel. I would like to thank Ariane Zurcher for reminding me that I'm an artist and I don't have to follow anyone else's rules or program or even what someone else says. I have to listen to me and my inner voice and do me. And so these were the start of me using a pattern for a sea urchin that I got to this point and just liked them as they were and kept them. So they still remind me of the beach a bit. This is a piece out of my felt from the offcuts. So where is it? Just in case you didn't see any of the travel videos, this was one great big massive bit of felt that I had wet felted and made myself 20 years ago. And I'd made this pouch, and while I was at Green Door I had made this little stitch book. Oh look, oh isn't that good? I've already got some orts to add to my jar from Green Door. Yes, so I made this little needle book because the last time I made a needle book was when I was doing the 100-day project with Rachel we worked it out the other day, it was 2019 or 2020. So I haven't made a needle book since then. So I thought everyone's making a few of these little ones, so I thought I'd have a go. And I still had bits of felt left over. One I think I'm making a scissors case from. And then I was looking at these little scraps that, you know, the edges that I'd cut off, and they've still got a bit of colour in, so I've been using those. Here's one here. I've done some seed stitch down through here. This is a little bit of that felt I'd got at the Recycle Art Truck in Ringwood, and it's all a very kind of weird crepey, I can't see it on the back, but it's like a crepey wool, and so it sort of stretches. So I put a dart in and seed stitched, and I just started to play and add things, and I realised for the most part it reminds me quite a bit about the sea. So that's where I'm up to, and I'm going to be working on that. Just saw this. So there's going to be more things added. I was just wondering now, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do 2 more panels, then join them and, you know, see what sort of base it's going to have. But I'm just at the moment in play mode and letting it grow and expand as I go. So I want to add a bit more felt. I think I had a couple of buttons I was going to put here. Anyway, I'm thinking out loud a bit, but I'm actually thinking that these are somehow going to be around the base. I do love the story that happened. This rock was so entwined, and then the next one was a lot looser. And then, you know, the feathers were really, always a feather to me is a message. The birds are sending you a little message of, you know, their flight and their freedom. I think I did a sort of a flat lay while I was away to get a photo of it all, and I think I had like the feathers, something like this, but I realised that the reality is that putting the feathers, the rocks, the shells, the bit of driftwood are all perhaps too contained in a small space. So none of these are going to be going on until there's at least 2 more panels. So this is one panel, and I don't know if I'm going to start new panels before finishing this. Probably. I could get carried away stitching every single little bit of this, but then the other 2 panels, they might end up moving and changing and creating something new, and then this might be way too cluttered and it might not work. So I think before I stitch any more on this, because it feels like I'm a bit complete with it in a way. I mean, I'm not, because there's always something else you can do. I think, yeah, I think I'll start the other 2 panels first before I do any more stitching on it. So that's where I'm at. They're my thoughts about on my return. I'm on Ariane's last video. She is talking about self-love and self-care, and I'm all for that, Ariane. I'm on that journey with you. I'm going to jump onto Ariane's challenge. The first part is if you walk past a mirror, look at yourself and say, I love you. And I'm going to do that and see how I go with that for the week. I'm also going to focus this week on a bit more making of my journals. So I have been in the background slowly stitching away around some of my pockets and things. My journals are going to be pretty arty, always with bits of my artwork in, my printables and other people's freebie printables, so tags and everything. Will be with colourful and arty, I think. Anyway, I've got to do the covers and I've got to bind them and then start putting all the stuff in. So that's another thing for this week. And I think that's it. That's the wrap up of my art retreat, art week. And even though I'm back to a big mess, I've made a decision. So this is a big decision because I don't sort of believe, if you've got a house, I don't believe in paying for storage, because if you've got a house, you shouldn't have to. But because Lily's boxes and, you know, there's about 7 of those huge bags of bubble wrap and wrapping paper, I can't walk around my garage at the moment. It's just overstuffed. It was already overstuffed. Oh, I should be stitching while I'm saying this story, but it was already overstuffed, and I've decided that I was just going to give all her boxes away for free because I don't want to store them. And she is finding that her rent is so much compared to her wage that she's got $5 left at the end of the week, therefore no food money. So I'm providing food and extra money for other things. So another cost, but I think I'm going to get a very small storage unit, put all her boxes and stuff in so I can walk around the garage again, and then put some of my extra stuff. Like I've got a whole heap of scratch building stuff that I started and didn't know if I'd get back to it, but the sculptural form of some things is sort of, it's a good learning for me and it's good to tackle it. So I don't want to get rid of that stuff. So that's my decision. Tomorrow morning, in the morning, I'm going to go and get a small storage unit and I'm going to load all that stuff up into it and declutter a bit in here so as I can get a bit more organised for myself. This is my journey and my time. Anyway, probably waffling on a bit much now, so I'm going to go and I'll start my next video for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. And thank you, hello to all those new subscribers. That was quite an influx and how wonderful. Thank you. Hello to you all. That's just beautiful. If you are interested in Ariane's challenge as well, please join in. It's on her latest video, which I will link below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.